In the world of Plants vs Zombies, your next door neighbor Crazy Dave has some pretty messed up seeds. Given Crazy Dave's mental state, it's reasonable to believe that he may end up forgetting the concept of property boundaries and plant one of his seeds in your garden. So, with each of these plants, how concerned should you be if one grows in your garden? Also only plants from the first game, because that just gives for a more simplified list. While potentially aggressive, a pea shooter should be no struggle to take out. It shoots peas for crying out loud. It's a sunflower. Most people would actually want this plant in their garden. Cherry bomb won't pose any danger to you. It will, however, blow a massive hole in your garden, killing everything, likely toppling your fence and, worst case scenario, starting a fire. Also, make sure you aren't in the garden whilst it's still alive. Whilst being inside an explosion is worse, being close to one can be life-threatening. Half nut and half full. A walnut will be hard to remove, but not dangerous. Potato mines are very dangerous, even more so than cherry bombs. They're hard to find, and if you don't have any mine-sweeping tech in your garden shed, your best option is to just start throwing rocks here and there and hoping for the best, which will still end up with a crater in your garden bed. If Crazy Dave planted it recently enough, then there's a chance it's still in its inert phase, but odds are you won't find it until it pops out. Snoopy is just a pea shooter, but it makes you cold. Put a jacket on, or bring a shield if you have any medical conditions around that. Chomper will eat you. It's not an if, it's a when. I suggest you try finding any spare meat you may have and feed it to Chomper to distract it, and snipping it whilst you have the chance. Repair is pea shooter but twice. Easy to take care of. Puffshroom is only the size of your fist and shoots one measly spore at a time. Your dog would be able to take care of this one. Sunshroom's no different from Sunflower execution-wise, just less appealing to keep. Fume Shroom shoots a bunch of spores at once, but the spores are no big trouble to deal with. I do, however, suggest caution if you have asthma or something similar. The only thing Gravebuster does is destroy a grave. Really hope there aren't any graves in your backyard. Hypnoshroom poses no danger to you so long as you don't eat it. However, if you have a dog, it may have tried to eat it, in which case my only suggestion is to put it down. Sketty Shroom will hide in the ground when you approach it, but it can't be terribly hard to pull out. That or you could put something really heavy on its cap, I think that'd be funny. Everything in your garden and possibly some of your house will be frozen. This won't take long to thaw out, but freezing will kill all of your plants. Like Cherry Bomber, but much worse. If you find one planted in your garden, evacuate immediately and alert the rest of your neighborhood. Afterwards, I suggest applying for insurance on everything you have the time to. This all comes down to whether or not you had a pool. If so, you can just pull the lily pad out and maybe throw around like a frisbee and whatnot. If you didn't have a pool, then you have much bigger problems to deal with. Squash just sits there until something approaches, which it disappears after killing. In this case, I suggest you leave it alone and let some squirrel take the fall. Like pea shooter, but it shoots at 3 different places at once. I trust you'll only be at one place at any given time. Basically an aquatic squash. Aquatic animals aren't nearly as common in urban environments though, so I suggest you let some unwitting pool party patron take the fall for this one. Call the fire department. Spikeweed is spiky, but if you approach carefully or with gloves, then it shouldn't be all too dangerous to remove. It is, however, a weed, so it will end up coming back again and again and again, which will be very annoying since it'll hurt when you step on it. Call the fire department. Half tall and half nut. Taking down a tall nut will be a tall order. Puffshroom but aquatic. Even if you can't swim, reaching over with a rake and whacking it on the head should do the trick. Plantain is technically a tree, so what, you'll need an axe instead of a shovel? Just go to a hardware store if you don't have one. Yes, I know it's spiky, just put some gloves on, you can deal with this. If you can't get rid of a bloated, then I suggest moving far away from Dave's house. Again, a pea shooter that shoots at multiple places. You have more important problems if you're both in front of and behind the same split pea. Won't be any harder than a pea shooter, but it's easier if you play Toho. You could give it the walnut treatment and spend an hour trying to break it down, but given the shape, I suggest picking it up and throwing it back into Dave's yard like a frisbee. Take this one out as early as you can. If left unchecked, then it'll probably grab anything metal in your garden and start piling up a defensive trash heap. Everything in the heap will probably end up mangled or broken due to being dragged by the force of magnetism too. Even then, you have to deal with the fact that whatever garden tools you're using to remove it will get magnetized, leading to them possibly getting broken as well. Same as pea shooter, but you probably have to exchange any shields for head protection. Even then, a cabbage seems softer than a pea, not worth the effort. He's given you a flower pot. I suggest you don't do anything about the situation. Colonel Pope flings corn kernels at you. Just walk right up and rip it out. It's just a coffee bean. I don't know why you'd care enough to remove it in the first place. Man up, you can get rid of the stinky thing. It's no different than picking up dog poo. Umbrella leaf is impossible to take out from above, which fortunately doesn't impact whether or not you can pick it up via a shovel. Don't remove this one. I don't care how anti-thematic it is with the rest of your garden. This one grows money! Okay, I can see why you wouldn't want a melon thrown on your head. Gatling Pea is incredibly fast at shooting peas, but at the end of the day, they're still peas. Carrying anything hard will stop them. It's just sunflower twice. Another plant that's the same as the prior one, in this case the fume shroom rather than a pea shooter, but shoots in multiple directions. Don't worry, this is the last one. Now you could get rid of this one same as all the other plants. Or you can make it your pet. Yes, it will still be aggressive, but I'm sure you can work around that. For the love of God, wear a helmet when removing this one. Even if you think you can take a melon falling on your head, a hit will leave you a sitting duck for other melons, so you're probably gonna get left with multiple concussions by the time that the winter melon is gone. Like Marigold, I suggest just leaving Gold Magnet there so long as you're willing to convert any coins you have lying about to cash. Yes, I know they are an enhanced magnet shroom, but they've really straightened out their act. This one's a rock. You can just carry it out. I don't know, man. Call in the military. Press civil insurrection charges. This one just copies other plants. It's really no different than that plant in Grayscale and should be treated as such. This one's like walnut, but it explodes when you're done with it. I don't know how to deal with this one. You guys should be glad that I didn't even try to cover the other entries. I have no clue how you tried to remove a bee shooter from your backyard.